Hare Krishna, Mataji and Prabhuji's Dandavat Pranams. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranams.
Pranam Mataji. Pranam Prabhuji.
Pranams Mataji and Prabhuji's. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Pranams Mataji. Pranams Prabhuji.
Hey, Hare Krishna everyone.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam.
Mataji, Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare
Pranams
Krishna Mataji,
Mataji.
Pranams Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. So we
Pranams
will
Mataji.
do till verse 17, but all of you will recite verse number 14. Okay, let's start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Jeva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jyaudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th Canto, chapter 16, verse number 14. Balagnayo Vriditastatra Balahatya Hata Prabhavaha Balahatya Vritam Cherur Brahmaneryan Niropitam Yamuna Aya Maharaja Smarantayo Dvija Bhashitam. Okay, if anyone wants to recite this verse.
Mataji, Hare Krishna, 12th and 13th not completed, kada?
No, Prabhuji. Yesterday I did actually.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yesterday I missed
Okay,
it.
Madhya
Sorry,
Hare
Mata.
Krishna,
Hare
Chant
Krishna.
Mataji. Okay,
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranams Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Balagno Vriditastatra Balahatya Hata Prabhaha Balahatya Vratam Cherur Brahmanairyan Nirupitam Yamunayam Maharaja Smarantyo Dvijabhashitam. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Pranandi Madhvi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी प्रणाम माताजी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बालज्ञो वृदितस्तत्र बालहत्या हत प्रभाः बालहत्यावृतं चेरुर् ब्राह्मणे यन्निरूपितं यमुना अयं महाराजा स्मरन्त्यो द्विजभासिताम् हरे कृष्ण
Thank
माताजी
you.
थैंक यू
Madhumati Vilasni Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी दंडवत प्रणाम माताजी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बालज्ञो मृडितास्तत्र बालहत्या हत प्रभा बालहत्या व्रतं चेरु ब्राह्मणे यन्निरूपितं यमुनायां महाराज स्मरन्त्यो द्विजभासितम् थैंक यू माताजी हरे कृष्ण
Usha Devati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranams Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Balagno Viditastatra Balahatya Hata Prabhu Balahatya Vratam Cherur Brahmanairyan Nirupitam Yamunaya Maharaja Smarantyo Dvijabhashitam. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Chitramohini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी प्रणाम्स माताजी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बालज्ञो व्रीडितास्त्र बालहत्या हत प्रभाः बालहत्या व्रतं चेरु ब्राह्मणैर्या निरूपितं यमुनायं महाराजा स्मरन्त्यो द्विजभाषितं हरे कृष्ण माताजी थैंक यू माताजी
Thank you. Suramya Madhvi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Balagno Vriditastatra Balahatya Hata Prabha Balahatya Vratam Cherur Brahmaneryan Nirupitam Yamunayam Maharaja Smarantyo Dvijabhashitam. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Krishna. Vijay Kumari Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mataji, Pranam Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Balajno Ridita Tatra Balahatya Hada Prabha. Balahatya Pradam Seru Brahmanir Yani Nirubidam. Yamunayam Maharaja Sparando Tajabashitam. Thank you, Mataji.
Repti Ratnangi Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी प्रणाम माताजी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बालकृण्यो वृडिदास्तत्र बाला हत्या हद प्रभः बाल हत्यावृतं शेरु ब्राह्मणीर्यन्निरूपितं यमुनायां महाराजा स्मर् अन्तर्योतु च भाषितं हरे कृष्ण माताजी थैंक यू वेरी मच
Thank you. Surya Prakash Rao Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mata Pranamalu. Balagno Vidita Tastra Balahatya Hata Prabaha Balahatya Vratam Cherur Brahmanairya Nirupitam Yamunayam Maharaja Tunvandrodija Vashitam. Hare Krishna Mata
Thank
Dhanyavada.
you, Krishna. Uma Kulkarni Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बालग्नो व्रीडिता तत्र बालहत्या हतप्रभाः बालहत्यारुतं चेरुर्ब्रह्मणे निरूपितं यमुनायं महाराजा स्मरन्त्यो द्विजभाषितम् हरे कृष्ण माता जी
Thank you, Krishna. Balagnya, the killers of the child. Vriditaha, being very much ashamed. Tatra, there. Balahatya, because of killing the child. Hat, having lost. Prabha, all bodily luster. Balahatya vritam, the atonement for killing the child. Cheru, executed. Brahmane, by the priest. Yat, which. Krishna Nirupitam described. Yamunayam at the river Yamuna. Maharaja, O King Parikshit, Smarantayaha, remembering. Dvijabhashitam, the statement given by the Brahman. Translation by Sharabad. Sharabad ki jai. King Kritadyuti's co-wives who had poisoned the child were very much ashamed and they lost all their bodily luster. While lamenting, O king, they remembered the instructions of Angira and gave up their ambition to bear children. Following the directions of the Brahmins, they went to the bank of the Yamuna where they bathed and atoned for their sinful activities. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila ki jai. In this verse, the word Bal Hatya Hata Prabha is to be particularly noted. The practice of killing children has existed in human society for a long time, since time immemorial. But in the days of yore, it was very rarely performed. At the present moment, however, in this age of Kali, abortion, killing of the child within the womb, has become very common, and sometimes the child is even killed after birth. If a woman performs such an abominable act, she gradually loses all her bodily luster. Balahatya Hata Prabha. It is also to be noted that the ladies who had committed the sinful act of administering poison to the child were very much ashamed, and according to the directions of the Brahmins, they had to undergo atonement for killing the child. Any woman who has ever performed such an infamously sinful act must atone for it. But no one now is doing that. Under the circumstances, the woman responsible must suffer in this life and the next. Those who are sincere souls, after hearing this incident, should refrain from such child killing and should atone for their sinful activities by taking to Krishna consciousness very seriously. If one chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra without offenses, all of one's sinful actions are surely atoned for immediately. But one should not commit such deeds again, for that is an offense. Verse 15. Sa ittham pratibuddhatma चित्रकेतुर्द्विजोतिभिः गृहान्दाकूपान् निष्कृतान्तः शरापङ्काद् इवाद्विपः. Translation by Prabhupada. Thus enlightened by the instructions of the Brahmins, Angira and Narad, King Chitraketu became fully aware of spiritual knowledge. As an elephant becomes free from the muddy reservoir of water, King Chitraketu came out of the dark well of family life. Kalindyam vidhivat snatva krita punya jala kriyaha Maunena samyata prano Brahma putra avandata. Translation by Prabhupada. The king bathed in the river of Yamuna, in the water of the Yamuna, and according to the prescribed duties, he offered oblations of water to the forefathers and demigods. Very gravely controlling his senses and mind, he then offered his respect and obeisances to the son of Lord Brahma, Angira and Narad. Verse 17. Atha tasmai prapanaya bhaktaya paratatmane bhagavad narada prito vidyam etam uvachaha. Translation by Prabhupada. Thereafter, being very much pleased with Chitraketu, who was a self-controlled devotee and surrendered soul, Narad, the most powerful sage, spoke to him the following transcendental instructions. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyan Anjan Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanda Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanuste Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Radha, Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namam Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namne. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pacharine, Nirvishesha Srinivadi, Paschatya Deshadarine. Okay, let's read the verses again. Queen Kritaduti's co-wives who had poisoned the child were very much ashamed, and they lost all their bodily luster. While lamenting, O king, they remembered the instructions of Angira and gave up their ambition to bear children. Following the directions of the Brahmins, they went to the bank of the Yamuna, where they bathed and atoned for their sinful activities for Krishna. Thus, enlightened by the instructions of the Brahmins, Angira and Narad, King Chitraketu became fully aware of spiritual knowledge. As an elephant becomes free from the muddy reservoir of water, King Chitraketu came out of the dark well of family life. The king bathed in the water of the Yamuna, and according to the prescribed duties, he offered oblations of water to the forefathers and demigods. Very gravely controlling his senses and mind, he then offered his respects and obeisances to the sons of Lord Brahma, Angira and Narad. Thereafter, being very much pleased with Chitraketu, who was a self-controlled devotee and surrendered soul, Narad, the most powerful sage, spoke to him the following transcendental instructions. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, which is called as the prescribed duties of the mankind. Chapter number 16. Do you still remember the name? Chapter number 16.
King
King Chitraketu
Chitraketu
meets the
Chitraketu
Supreme
meets the
Lord.
Lord.
Means the Supreme Lord. Very nice. So, this particular verse embarks the end of the different chapter starts after the funeral has been performed for the body of the child, that soul in the child's body, and then everyone had given up their lamentation. This was because of the power of instructions of the pure devotee. You see, power of the instructions of the pure devotee are such that they can actually place us in the reality, in the spiritual reality, and take us out from the material illusion. Because remember, we discussed that Prabhupada was explaining that all the emotions in the material realm, attachment, detachment, is because of the duality, right? Because there's a duality. There's this. Why there's a duality? Because I'm thinking I'm the body. But the instructions of the pure devotee are such that they can pull us out of this illusion or duality and place us in the spiritual reality. And in spiritual reality, na sochati na kankshati, like sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti lavate param, like brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. This may sound like a theory to most of us, but this is what we are seeing as this pastime is unfolding, as to how Chitraketu, who was barely able to walk when he heard the news of the death of his child, and now he is completely back to his senses and is going to perform the rituals performed the rituals of a funeral of the body, and also went on to was able to get out of the dark well of the family life. The ambition to have more children. Right? He could have asked Narad Muni and Angira Rishi to give him more children, but he actually came out of that dark well of the family life and did not want to ask for more children, because he understood that. What did he understand? What made him not ask for more children? He could have asked more children from them.
It was Supreme Lord's wish. He understood. Whatever Supreme Lord grant, that is the only thing which he's going to get in his life.
Very nice. Okay.
Yes. Body relation is impermanent, temporary.
Yeah, that is the knowledge. Application of knowledge is what? That's the knowledge that bodily relationships are impermanent and temporary. Was the application of knowledge. Application of knowledge is what we are learning in this verse or this pastime, is that he completely put his attention towards re-establishing his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Prabhupada mentions, right, is it in verse 13 that Krishna knows how to adjust everything. So certainly to remain neutral at the death of the sun is not very easy. But nevertheless, he was instructed to remain neutral and approach the neutral personality of Godhead because the Supreme Personality of Godhead knows how to adjust everything well, how to balance everything out. We do not know. We think that this is best for me, this is good for me, that person is best for me, this relationship is best for me, that I should get into this relationship, I should get out of this relationship, I should make this relation. So many, maintain this particular relation. We go according to the realm of the mind, and the mind is everywhere. So what do? We surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in all circumstances. How? How do we surrender? If somebody has a very nice relationships in their life, somebody has not so nice relationships in their life, both are advised the same instruction: surrender. How can both surrender at the same level? How? What are we learning from this particular pastime? How to do that? By what is the common denominator? Yeah, Dhanadameshwari Mataji.
Love to the God from Mataji. Devotion, by the
Very
devotion.
nice. Okay, very nice. What else?
Hare Krishna Mataji, follow the Guru's
Yes.
instruction. Yeah.
Yes. Very nice. By surrendering to a spiritual master, by following the instructions of a spiritual master, by remaining in touch with the spiritual master. Yes, that is the answer. That, whatever the spiritual master says, that because Krishna speaks through the pure devotee, right? So that will adjust our life in such a manner that we don't get entangled anymore. If we don't listen to spiritual master, we will listen to our mind. And if we listen to our mind, then we are going to get entangled because the mind is not free. Something which is not free cannot give us freedom. Okay, so if I don't have a spiritual master, then what do? Pray for one. There's no deficiency. Pray for one and also read the scriptures. Prabhupada was speaking today. I was hearing him that our movement is based on Bhagavad Gita. He said, I appeal everyone to read Bhagavad Gita every day. That our movement is based on Bhagavad Gita. He said that. Okay, so in this particular verse, we read that all the queens who had actually poisoned the child because of the envy and because of feeling neglected, because of feeling sad and rejected, became very ashamed. Okay, so this is because why did they become ashamed? Because when they were doing that, they were fully convinced that this is the right thing to do. And this will earn them the long neglected attention of their husband towards them. So what made them ashamed now? Yeah, you can raise your hand. What made them ashamed now? This is very much connected to our Shikshashtakam prayers. What made them ashamed now? They were not ashamed before. It was a very thoughtful decision, a very planned out decision, and the mind had justified it. So how are they ashamed now? Am I audible? Hi Krishna. Am I audible?
The avidya that caused it has gone.
Very nice. Okay. Yeah, so this is the impact of, getting in touch with a pure devotee or getting in touch with the holy name is that the dust on the mirror of the mind becomes clear. You can see that this was not the right thing to do. And the ambition of Nard Muni and Angira Rishi primarily was not to make these queens ashamed of their heinous act. That was not the ambition. The ambition was to give spiritual knowledge to Chitraketu. And because of that, everyone got the spiritual knowledge. And then the result was that we become ashamed of what we have been doing in our life. This is if we are also not ashamed of our actions in the past, then we have really made a very less progress. Okay, now they became ashamed and also lost all their bodily luster, because the bodily luster is connected to the purity of the heart, right? As much as one's heart is pure and clean, the body will shine. We see that in the lives of pure devotees. If you see the devotees who are very serious in their practice of Krishna consciousness, whose hearts are very soft, they emanate a kind of a glow. Yeah, you've seen it. You've seen Nama Nishta Prabhu. I think he emanates a
Yes,
kind of a
Mataji.
glow.
Yes, Mataji. You are
Yeah.
right. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So because the heart is so clean. When the heart is clean, the mind is clean, and there is Krishna, and Krishna is so beautiful. So why his devotees will not be beautiful? Okay, but then when the sinful activities keep covering, then the luster is lost. And Prabhupada is mentioning in the verse very strongly that if anyone has ever done such a heinous act, must atone by immediately taking to chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra offenselessly. But don't do it again, for that is an offense. Okay, and this is a very common practice across the world, to kill the children or to prevent the pregnancy because of the lack of the reality. We are trying to adjust our life according to our mind's directions. It's not going to work. It's going to create havoc. It has already created havoc in the world. All the wars, all the misunderstandings at all levels. You can start from a level of household, and then neighborhood, and country, nation, international. All of them are based on one thing, that I am the body and I'm the enjoyer. All of them. Okay, I want to possess more and more and more. So, but we are not going to take part in such low grade conversations and mentalities. Why low grade? Because it is based on something which is not going to help me in my Krishna consciousness. We are going to focus on what is going to be helpful for my Krishna consciousness. Krishna will adjust. There is no need to be worried or scared or fearful. Krishna will adjust. So we don't do such heinous acts willingly. And in the past, if someone has done it, Prabhupada is saying, take to Krishna consciousness. And then what happens? Chitraketu comes out of this entanglement. It's an entanglement. No, the desire to have something in the material world is an entanglement. Right? We have discussed this in the past, that Prahlad Maharaj says this in 7th canto, that we are happy unless and until we desire to have something, and then our happiness starts. As long as I want to have something, some recognition, some entitlement, some possession, the unhappiness starts from there on, he says. And then we have also discussed this in Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, verse 22, when Krishna says, Yehi samsparshacha bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adi antavantukantaya nateshu ramate buddha. So yehi samsparshacha bhoga, Dukkha yonaya evate. So the dukkha yona. So yoni, in other word, is a womb. So the samsparsha bhoga. So the one that gives happiness by the virtue of the touch. In the womb of that happiness, dukkha yonaya, the sorrow, the sadness is taking birth. In the womb of that happiness, the sadness is taking birth, is another explanation of this verse. In the material world, whatever we are possessing is going to be the same thing, is the cause of our anxiety and lamentation. We can start from our body and then go on. I'm not speaking this, Shastras are speaking this. I'm not saying that we must become frustrated and disabled and also get very lonely and scattered in our thought process. No, it just means that I have to utilize everything I have for my ultimate purpose. Okay, not get caught up. That's what it says. No, he came out of the dark well of family life. Why his family life is compared to a dark well? Because it was very entangling. Okay, it was taking him away from the main focus. Not everybody's family is a dark well. We don't see Krishna telling Arjun, leave your family and go and live in the forest, even though he wanted to do that. Yes, do we see that? Krishna telling Arjun?
No, Mataji.
No, Mataji.
He said, fight. He said, you're a family man, you're a grahastha, you are a fighter, you're a military man. You have such nice lineage from your father and mother. Fight with determination, right? Fight, fight, fight. So everywhere he's saying fight. So not every family is a dark well. It is a dark well if it is prohibiting my advancement in Krishna consciousness. So we don't need to, we don't need to compare each and every family like that. There's so many. He never told Parikshit Maharaj to leave his family. We don't hear instructions of Amrish Maharaj leave his family, Bali Maharaj leave his family. They're all they all are like devotees in Grahastha ashram who are Ramananda Rai here setting the example, the exalted example of how to be a pure devotee. So the same circumstances, if it is very much amiable to Krishna consciousness, stay there. If the circumstances are not amiable to Krishna consciousness, pray to get out. That's the verdict. Okay. And then what happens? Then he goes and he goes to Yamuna, he atones, he offers oblations to he offers oblations. No, he is free from this shackle or this desire in the heart that I don't have a son who will inherit the property or the kingdom and will offer oblations to forefathers. He's free from all those insecurities, for to say. And all he wanted to do was that he wanted to hear the instruction of Narad Muni and make that as his life and soul. This is a very high level in one's life. I pray that we reach that level at some point in our lives. It's a very high level to be able to come out of the shackles of the desires, because our desires are binding us. They bind us. They pull us down. If it is not in Krishna's service, they pull us down. And we all get attacked by this kind of circumstances externally, internally. And Prabhupada was saying today, he was saying that the root cause of this is the sound. He said sound in origin is spiritual. But if I associate with the sound which is material, then I get pulled down to the material world. He was saying that in this Bombay city, people are paying so much money is paid to the singer to sing some material song. He said they get paid 15,000 rupees for one song, so much money. This was in 1970s, he's giving classes, hearing, and people come and then they want to hear. So that binds the mind. It binds. That if we want to get free, then we have to associate with spiritual sound. And the spiritual sound vibration that we have is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So if we really want to get free, they don't try it on our own accord. It's because we are bound. We cannot get free. So what can free us? The spiritual sound. And that's what Narad Muni is going to give him the mantra to chant, which we will study tomorrow. That how to get out of this entanglement. And what is his entanglement? It's not nothing related to his kingdom, his family, his wives, him having a child and the child's death. It's not, it's an external representations of our inner desires. Our desires are the entanglements. We are struggling because we have situated ourselves in the material modes of nature, not anyone else around us. That's a secondary part. There's a second chapter. First is that I have done it to myself. I think I'll stop here. Any questions, reflections, realizations, corrections? Let me open the 6 Ashtakam.